Say hello, Isaac. Say I'm sorry for being late.
Sorry for being late. I'm here still.
Well, I'll put you on YouTube for that, mate. No! Oh, you want more? Okay, let's give you more. Why don't you buy a Chinese motorcycle? Personal experience here at Beachdale Motorcycles, we've now stopped servicing and repairing them. Some of the things that we've had go wrong with these bikes: I've seen engines vibrate loose, I've seen them assembled without any grease whatsoever, and partly because some people that buy them get them actually delivered in the crates and build them up themselves, and they just bolt them together, and then a year or so later when you need tyres or any servicing, it's really hard to get the spindles out of the wheels because they're absolutely dry. Yeah, on one of them he was complaining about a knocking noise, so I had a look at it and his engine was actually moving about an inch. So we tightened that up for him. And you also find, no disrespect here, but the sort of people that want to save a few quid on a bike also tend to want to save a few quid by servicing them or not servicing them. So not only do they buy these cheap bikes, but they're cheap people. I'm going to get some dislikes on this. This is not everybody, of course, but there are some cheap people who also try and save money by not servicing them. They end up with dry chains. The cables go dry and snap on them because they're substandard. Here's a perfect example. We had a Chinese bike delivered for CBT, brand spanking new with about 2 miles on the clock. The examiner, or the instructor, Dave, was showing the pupil how to put the bike on the centre stand. The tang that sticks out, I'll put a picture here for you, Dave put his foot weight on that, pressed down, and the tang snapped. The bike fell away from him, and the foot peg hanger, again I'll put another picture up here for you, shattered. Didn't just break, it shattered. The metal was so badly moulded that it just shattered. This is a brand spanking new Chinese bike. It's quite funny as well when we sometimes get people coming into the shop saying, oh, you're asking £1,700 for that YBR. I got a brand new flung poo for £850 on the road. And within a year, the bike's dead. So people actually sound quite disappointed when we won't work on them. But the reason being is because you'll do something to them, and then something else will go wrong, and then something else will go wrong. And we're forever chasing problems on these bikes. I would much rather buy a 20-year-old CG125 than a brand spanking new Chew Fat. So, basically, ignore my advice at your own peril, because if you spend £800-900 on a brand spanking new, really nice looking Chinese bike, when people say, oh, it's basically a Honda CG125 or it's a CBR 125, it isn't. It looks like it. If it was a CBR 125, it'd be going for 20 years. So you may as well just get your money, fold it up and throw it down the drain. And if you can find a dealer that will A, service it, and B, buy it off you, then that's probably a dealer that sells Chinese bikes. I know this is quite a harsh opinion, and I know some people that are saying, well, I've got a Chinese bike and it's not been a problem to me. Yes, of course there are exceptions to every rule. But for every one bike that's running okay, you're going to find probably 1,000 of them that have got electrical problems, bolts and nuts are wearing loose, the chrome is that rubbish that it rusts. The cables are really cheap and crap, and if they don't dry out and snap, then they're just not very smooth at all. That Hyosung Cruise nodded to me, bless him. The Hyosungs weren't too bad actually, they were the first of these import type bikes. They've not ended up being too bad. It's all these brand new things that look fantastic. So in conclusion here, my personal opinion, if you buy a Chinese bike, you may as well just throw your money down the drain. Generally they're rubbish. You'd be better off spending the same money on a 20-year-old Honda CG125. It'll hold its value, it'll be more reliable, you'll have dealers accepting it for servicing, and a lot of people won't look at you, shake their head and take the piss out of you. You have been warned.